Lobries and gentlegrams, the smashingly supersized slurper of Sandra suing son, the baloney blasting basement dwelling donut dimension doofus, the ham hoagie henny hogging hip hop hippopotamus, plotting on a sexy red stunt double schlong slanging scholarship, lips laced on lard and large liters of liquid alcohol, the infinity stones of gram glazing, this gluttonous, humongous, hungry hamburglar has them all. The Twitch banned burger bandit candid on the Canadian Pamela Anderson sandwiching himself in a gaming chair and a gallon of Hennessy. Big Mac a Snack Akademiks has officially added new names to his list of enemies. We're gonna break down the history, but first drop a like and subscribe if you're a friend to me. Now, lobbies and gentlegrams, before we get into Snack a Diddler, Nicki Minaj has been going on a Kanye the Klansman style 72-hour non-stop tweeting marathon where she has been just very impolitely attacking SZA, TDE Punch, Ochi, Jay-Z, all of Roc Nation. She's tagging the FBI, trying to get RICO cases happening, just not behaving like a mother with a 5-year-old son should be behaving, right? Because what if the kid needs to go to daycare? What if he needs, dinner to be cooked? He can't really cook himself, right? But what is he supposed to do when Nicki Minaj is on Twitter for 3 days straight and her father, Nicki's husband, is out in the streets looking for Offset?
Oh, man, what's up, man? Good money, man. Keep playing with me, man. All y'all let's play, man. Y'all want to play? It's all fun and games too. We want to play too.
We outside.
Somebody tell Offset. That whole gang could suck a
he off the set.
I had you scared, boy. What's happening? Plan that vacation. You're gonna be planning your funeral. Yeah, all the way to the street. Everything. Let's play. What's up?
We'll meet you there.
Yeah, so as you can see, Nicki's kid's father was very angry at Offset, but Nicki was even angrier because SZA said something horrible to her, alright? Just absolutely unforgivable. She said that she was more successful than Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj was not happy about this. Like I said, she's been on Twitter for the last 3 days talking about it. We're going to touch on that, but it all capitulated in Nicki Minaj saying that, guess what, guys? Check your clocks because it is officially snitching time, alright? Yes, Nicki Minaj said it's snitching time, and then she mysteriously got off Twitter. After a legendary 3-day run, dozens of tweets, it ended with snitching time. Now, what prompted this? Well, it was TDE affiliate Mac Wop, who had warned Nicki that she better stop talking crazy before she ends up like her boy.
Yo, what's going on, bruh? Oh my god. Update me. This internet shit crazy. Yo, blood. Hey, Nicki, relax. Or you get put in the blender like your boy did.
Uh-oh. She gotta relax.
Now, Nicki really hated this, alright? This caused her to dig all the way into Mr. Mac Wop's tweets from 2010. Yes, she went all the way back about 15 years to find this tweet where he said that Nicki Minaj makes every female rapper look like trash. Compliment to her, but the bridge has already been burnt, right? Alright, Nicki Minaj wants Mac Wop locked up. She tagged the Florida government representative Anna Paulina Luna and said, "This man just publicly threatened me. I've notified the FBI and the CIA. I want this thug locked up and I'm ready to talk about everything these people have done to me." Now, Mac Wop, when he, warned Nicki to say like, hey, just stop talking or else you'll end up in a blender like your boy, he was referring to Drake, right? Because if you guys didn't know, Drake lost a rap battle last year, and just like Nicki Minaj, he also went on snitching time, right? He went to New York Supreme Court and he sued his record label for promoting and releasing the song. So Nicki Minaj, she's on the same timing, right? She's ready to do the same. She tagged the FBI, the CIA, and said, "I'm willing to be a snitch, just like Desiree Perez, if it has to do with her, Roc Nation, or TDE." All right, she is about to go on a snitching spree against Jay-Z and TDE. And a lot of this stems from, Nicki's feelings being hurt because SZA was being very mean to her, all right? But, Nicki and SZA have had their back and forth for many days now on Twitter. I touched on a lot of that in my last video. I'll leave it, right up here on the right side. That's a better video, all right? Because you'll be able to see the full history of why Young Money really hates TDE. But after I made that video, SZA said this that made Nicki Minaj, really hate her even more. So she tagged an old conversation that her and Nicki had where Nicki reached out to her for a feature verse, and SZA said, "Nicki, you absolutely know my music and what I contribute because you've asked for features twice to no response." Yeah, because Nicki Minaj had actually claimed that, no one knew SZA's music. SZA was a nobody. SZA says, "In addition to rapping my lyrics on Feeling Myself, hooking up the bass looking like a kilo," so here, SZA is claiming she actually ghost wrote for Nicki Minaj, just like Nicki's Young Money counterpart, La Brianna. And she showed off their convo where you can actually see in July of 2020, Nicki said, "Hey, it's Nicki." SZA was like, "Nicki who?" Nicki's like, "Yeah, it's the queen, So SZA's like, "I'm good. What's poppin'? Congratulations are in order." So Nicki asks, "Is SZA recording right now? I got this hook and I think SZA would be dope on it." And SZA says, yeah, she heavy into her album. So Nicki sends over this hook that she wants SZA to sing on, and now that I'm reading this over, maybe this is actually Punch, a screenshot between TDE Punch and Nicki Minaj, their text conversation, but regardless, SZA had turned down the feature in 2020, alright? She said, I don't want nothing to do with this. And this made Nicki mad, like how could she, turn down the queen, right? So then Nicki remembers, oh wait, no, I actually do know who SZA is. So she tweets out saying, oh wait, that's the lady that sang on the Black Panther song, right? I love that movie. Oh, she used to sing in English? Oh, okay. Oh, and then she really reveals something very exposing. She says, and SZA's in her mid-40s, right? If not, I need to see her birth certificate. You know she likes to lie. So Nicki's revealing some very big information here that SZA is actually 40 years old, right? And does this matter to you guys? Like, you let me know in the comments. Does it matter how old, a singer or a rapper, whoever is, if they're delivering good music to you? Do you care about that? Do you care if they lie about their age? Do you feel like, there's an incentive to lie about your age when you're in the music industry trying to make it big? And then, Nicki one-ups her, right? Because SZA was saying, oh, I turned down your hook that you sent over to me. I rejected all the times that you wanted to sing with me. Nicki goes, yeah, well, hey, you're Rich Baby Daddy there, Drake, that song that you were on with him. I actually turned that down. I was supposed to be on that one originally. And this reminds me back to her beef with Cardi B in 2018 when both of them were arguing how they were both supposed to be on the G-Eazy song No Limit, but then Cardi B ended up making it onto that song and it became a hit. But Nicki was bragging about how she could have been on the song, but she wasn't on the song, but the song was a hit and Cardi B was on the song. So, who caught the W there? You guys let me know. But in this case, with the Drake song that SZA was on, Nicki said, I wonder if she knew I turned down being on the Shake That Butt for Drake song. He wanted me and Sexy Red on it. I still have the version of just Drake and Sexy Red. I said I want to wait for Pink Friday 2 for me and him to do the official La Brianna and Nicki Minaj song, so it felt more special. Like, this woman has been trying to tell the world she wrote for Beyonce every other business day, it would appear. I remember me and Beyonce was going back and forth on the phone about that part of the song. B was like, you sing it. I was like, no, you sing it. She was like, no, you sing it. I was like, please, I can't sing. Y'all, why did Beyonce say with a straight face, yes, you can sing, in that calm Texas drawl? None of us wanted to sing those crappy lyrics. Beyonce's voice was already on it. I re-sang it and sent it to her, and she sent it back with her vocals under mine. Thank goodness. She also added her vocals under my third rap verse. So here she's talking about the part that SZA actually wrote. Initially, it was Beyonce who sang it, but Beyonce wanted Nicki to sing it, and Nicki's like, nah, but I kind of find it funny because she's going crazy on Beyonce's husband Jay-Z on Twitter right now, but she's also kind of, acting like her and Beyonce were friends or reminiscing on that. And I'm just wondering who's cooking the kids dinner when, all this is going down, right? But, Nicki was very, very concerned with getting the FBI involved, so she kept tagging the FBI in different tweets. She was going at TDE Punch as well. She said, hey, this Justin. Oh my God, Bieber? No, this just in. TDE executive allegedly went to doctor for his weight loss journey, and they just called him and said it's time to do those loose skin parts now, allegedly. So this is very big news, all right? She's claiming that just like her Young Money counterpart, La Brianna, TDE Punch was under the knife, going under a little tummy tucking action, right? Big news, but we have more news. Because as you guys know, SZA is right now on a stadium tour with Kendrick Lamar, the GNX show, right? So Nicki Minaj posts a video of a bunch of fans leaving the show as SZA was performing. And Nicki takes another page out of Drake's book, flipping his lines, saying, is that a HO tour or your bro tour? Because, this whole battle is about who's more successful, right? Does SZA have a bigger career than Nicki Minaj? Bigger tours, bigger hits? And, Nicki finally celebrates her victory, right? Because this was a very big W for Nicki. So she said, welp, it looks like Mizza took the bait. Now, Mizza is her very clever nickname for SZA because she says SZA is miserable. So Mizza took the bait. Silly goose. Wasn't she warning about retrograde? Now she's been up all day leaving IG comments under people's blogs. I'm hollering. Y'all, I am hollering. And she also hollered at Jay-Z for a very meaningful, coherent rant that we're gonna read. But first, lobbies and gentlegrams, a bunch of you guys have been telling me you've been Anita Max winning some free cash from playing mobile games. So I want to put all you guys on to something that almost seems too good to be true, alright? Let me give you a little glimpse into my life. When I'm not making this content for you guys, I have a disgusting addiction to my phone. My daily screen time is higher than Drake on that album cover, higher than Snoop off the edibles. So if you guys suffer that same addiction as me, I want to put you onto something that's going to change your life. FreeCash.com is a program that partners with mobile games that are looking for more users to play their games, and they will literally pay you to play their games for free. All you got to do is sign up using the QR code you see on the screen or using the link in the description of this video. You make an account super easy. All you got to do is put in your email, create a password, verify your email, and then you're good to go. And they got a bunch of games. My favorite is the Monopoly Go because we're always on the go trying to make some money. Once you make an account, you just click the game you want to play, follow the directions directions that they give you. The directions are super easy. Usually you just got to download the game and start playing. So it's about time you put that phone addiction to good use. Again, use the QR code you see on the screen or the link in my description. Create an account and you could start making more than $150 just to play a game on your phone. The Nicki continued the historic tweeting spree with what I think is her best work, really just ideas flowing all over the place, very inspirational. So she said, how could 4 different artists all lose approximately 30 million listeners or streams in the last couple months while actively releasing music and or touring? Here she's talking about Doechii, Kendrick Lamar, SZA, and I don't know who the 4th one is, but drop a comment if you do. It is important to note that 2 of the 3 of these artists do have more monthly listeners still, even after losing 30 million than Nicki Minaj has currently, but she continues. They're rushing out those stats because the jig is up with all these botted enhancements. I didn't even know that MZA was still at it. Jay-Z, you better come get her. You better tell their executive to say what he called me begging for more than once, right before I released Pink Friday 2. But because I knew Roc Nation was affiliated with them and was just trying to use the queen again, I just kept turning their requests down, bookie. It's been tough for you and Desiree Perez now that you can't use my fans and me anymore, huh? It's been tough now that the smear campaigns ain't smearing the same, huh? Yeah, it's been tough for Jay-Z now that Nicki Minaj is not in his corner. Jay, how is Desiree? Did she do her deposition yet? I had no idea, and I used one of the same law firms as her. I just terminated them once I learned. I wonder if what she did to her daughter is proven true, if she herself should be Baker acted. I mean, wouldn't you say that's insane behavior if your Roc Nation CEO was doing these kind of things? LOL, remember how guys tried to lowball me for what I'd make per show for my Gag City tour? Haha, but then competition came along and a real offer had to be made, huh? That would make someone split a lot less, right? Didn't Future tour with the other touring company and had a really successful tour? It's funny, all Future did was say a song he co-wrote was taken from him without his knowledge. I believe she's referring to how Future co-wrote the song Drunk in Love by Beyonce and Jay-Z. Nicki continues, I'm paraphrasing here, but it seems that certain people end up hating the people that they can't get money from, huh? It's funny how much more my Gag City tour made than all my other tours. Isn't it funny how me taking Monica got people mad because they couldn't get their artists on my tour as an opener? LOL, we got lots of requests. Isn't it funny how that touring data page stopped posting touring data during a certain other person's tour? Were you the one that helped get Desiree pardoned? Lil Wayne was the only one that got punished for his pardon though, huh? I wonder if you guys have any control over the blogs that make them not want to post stuff about you that they post about plenty others. Inside, you're just an insecure guy who would rather pay for bots at 55 years old than do the right thing, huh? Allegedly, of course. And this long Bible was a response to a fan account posting that Nicki Minaj and Rihanna were the highest selling female artists in history. So, you know, this reaction was very warranted, right? So while all this is going on and SZA is really hurting Nicki Minaj's feelings, DJ Snacka Diddler, the gram goggling, henny hoggling, hip hop hippopotamus, yeah, well, he decided to take the liberty of jumping into this entire kerfuffle. I mean, it was actually his little Big Mac minion who runs his Twitter page, but we're gonna get to that. See, Akademiks a couple years back, he had his fair share of issues with SZA himself. SZA also hurt Akademiks' feelings, and you know, Akademiks, he's very self-aware. He knows that he should really work on his phobia of salads. He knows like he's made a lot of money. He really needs to start investing in a Bowflex, maybe a treadmill for his basement. He acknowledges that, you know, he himself is built like a reverse pyramid, but when SZA hurt his feelings, he decided that he was the right guy to take the liberty of telling SZA that she needs to shed some weight.
You love to eat. You are an eater. I like to eat too. But chicks like you, I'm going to go with the gut. Y'all don't catch me with the Gucci Man gut. Y'all going to have to deal with that. They already see my gut on the gram. Like, I've been trying to work out, like, you know what I mean? I had an in-girl on the hairs. I don't care. I'm a nigga. But y'all be fat just like me, looking like a linebacker's, your neck thick as like a 32 pack of Franks, and now y'all acting like y'all bad. You fat as
So, you know, Akademiks is talking about how much he loves to eat, but this really upset SZA. And it was actually Drake at the time who was trying to get SZA on a couple songs for his albums For All the Dogs, and he called up Akademiks. And you know Akademiks, he really loves Drake, right? He'll do anything for Drake, and that's going to play an important role very shortly. But Drake called him and said, listen, I don't want to sue you because you do a great job at latching onto my log, but please just apologize to SZA. You know, walk back those comments you made because I'm trying to get her on my album, and you really upset her feelings, even though you were talking about how much you like to eat and how many hairs you have on your gut. So Snacka Diddler did. He apologized, but him and Nicki Minaj, they share a couple common enemies. It's not just SZA, it's also Roc Nation, Desiree Perez. They think that, you know, Roc Nation had conspired against Tory Lanez, and that's the reason why he's in prison currently with the whole Megan Thee Stallion situation. So Akadiddler TV, the propaganda Twitter account that is run by one of the Big Mac minions. They wanted to get in on the fun, so they posted this picture, or these 3 pictures of SZA trying to clown her. Now, they did end up deleting this picture, but Punch had responded to it saying, you know, Akademiks, didn't you say that the homeboy personally writes the captions for the Akademiks TV Twitter page, or were you capping when you said that? Now, most people thought when Punch said, you know, the homeboy, he was referring to Grand Wizard Chat Guy. That's the name of the really lovely individual who runs the Akademiks news account on Twitter, and he's turned this into a full-blown propaganda machine. He makes some really vile, disgusting comments. He's a vile human himself just by the name that he goes by, right? Look up Grand Wizard if you want to understand where the origins of his name actually derive from. And how did he get into the mix? Well, Akademiks was initially very good friends with this guy who goes by the name Lil Boom. Now, Lil Boom got caught in a Walmart allegedly doing some, you know, very inappropriate things. Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor, essentially. You guys can look into that rabbit hole, but after that rabbit hole, Akadidler befriended another one of his fans, I guess you could say, someone who was a fan of Akadidler, and eventually this guy ended up running the Academiks TV Twitter account. Grand Wizard. Now, Drake is actually friends with Grand Wizard as well. There were some DMs that leaked earlier this year. I did a video on that, where you can see Drake was calling Grand Wizard Grandy. So they're good friends. They have nicknames for each other. And Grandy was sending Drake teasers of the Not Like Us music video right before it dropped. They were talking a lot. They were very good friends. They were chatting on Instagram. And when Grandy's Instagram got hacked and the Drake messages had leaked, Drake had actually paid someone to retrieve and get back the Grandy Instagram account. So Punch here is implying, you know, when he says, doesn't the homeboy write the captions on the Academiks TV page? It's kind of up in the air. Is he talking about, you know, does Drake write the captions? Or is it Grandy writing the captions? Or is Drake telling Grandy what to write? The captions have been very disgusting. So if it is Drake playing a hand in, you know, concocting these captions, then Drake probably needs some help, okay? But so the suspense kept building, right? So Akademiks replies to Punch saying, who is homeboy? And Punch says, you know who homeboy is. So Ak replies saying, oh, I love this more than I love Big Macs. Let's clarify and set the record straight. Drake never wrote a caption on my page. I have a team that does it. Yes, they are all like me. They're heavy Drake fans, I'm not gonna lie. What I said was, last time I said anything on stream about SZA, Drake was the one who personally called me and asked me to cool it and walk back what I had said, saying that SZA was crying for 2 days in the studio while he was trying to get her to do Slime You Out and Rich Baby Daddy. I told Dave Free the same exact thing, and I said that if Drake hasn't hit us about anything that was posted on the Academiks TV page, it's probably because he doesn't care at this point, because he does communicate with my people. Do you need any more clarification? Now, it's important to know Drake just had his wireless festival, and he brought out a bunch of different streamers like DDG, Aiden Ross. They were all there on stage with Drake, filming the show, all that stuff, streaming it, but Akadidler actually didn't get the invite, right? He was in Turks and Caicos instead, and he was very loud on Instagram Live, which we're going to touch on shortly, everything that he said. And Akademiks also makes it known that, you know, he really likes what Nicki Minaj has been saying. He thinks it's very constructive, and if you don't agree, then you probably sold your soul, all right? So he said, I'm on vacation. I'm gonna mind my business for now, but to be honest, I'm side-eyeing everyone who's critical of Nicki Minaj recently. She's only been exposing the demons of the industry. If you against her, you probably sold your soul. Nicki on bad timing recently. She's not lying either. Everybody's just too scared to say the stuff she's saying. Trust. So Punch responds to Akadidler saying, see, you didn't tell the homie, aka Dave Free, when you went to the GNX show, you didn't tell Dave Free that Drake personally handles the negative captions about SZA on the Academiks TV page, and Akademiks said, nope, but you should probably drop the audio of that conversation, sir. It's confusing why you're even asking this, because Anthony Soleil literally told me he knew who wrote the captions for Academiks TV and said that he paid a private investigator to figure out everything about them. Truth is, Anthony Soleil talked to me about Academiks TV, the Twitter page, saying that non-public people were being mentioned and saying if I could have my employees chill out with the captions and mentioning Kendrick's wife and non-public people. I agreed that non-public people shouldn't be targeted in a rap beef. I literally said to Anthony Soleil, y'all and Drake went super personal. How y'all blaming my fans? My Academiks TV alt page is ran by fans. How you don't care about your actions but you're mad about what fans say? I said the same thing to Dave Free, who seemed to be upset with me about what Drake said about Kendrick's child paternity. How y'all win a rap battle but still emotional how far it got? And this is Snackadidler again just being delusional of the fact that Drake was the one who initiated anything personal personal in the rap beef, right? Kendrick said, don't take it further. Don't speak on the family, Crody. But Drake had the red button, right? He had the Family Matters nuke that he couldn't hold back, where he's talking about Dave Free being the father of Kendrick's kid with Whitney, all that. But in Akademiks' mind, it's that they both were the ones that brought things there, right? It wasn't one person started it while the other person warned that person, hey, if you take it there, I'm taking it further. Nah, that doesn't matter. And Akademiks tells them, like, hey, like, you guys seem to have all these issues about what my team is posting, what Grandy, the Grand Wizard, what he's posting on the Akademiks TV page. Really, you should be pointing your finger at Drake and saying, you know, let me sue you like you're doing to us. You know, he continues saying, how are you having conversations with me about stuff and you're unwilling to get at Drake about your issues? That seems weird. If Drake was complaining to me about your behavior or me posting your performances, I would tell him, well, go slide then. I also explained the reason it's happening. It's because they kicked off a rap beef with hella personal, non-public people insults. Talked about his mom, his dad, non-existent daughter, and called homie a PDF. TDE are acting like the fans made up the Dave Free and the K-Dot Kid angle, the Whitney abuse allegations, and basically the posting of non-public people like Anthony getting posted by Drake. Drake violated y'all like that, and the fans just laughed and indulged. Y'all made millions and on that tour too. Basically saying, like, don't complain to me, you know, I'm just a fan, I'm just engaging in this stuff, right? Like, your real problem here, your real bone to pick is with Drake, and you guys also went hard at Drake, calling him a PDF, saying he has a fake daughter and all that. But again, failing to realize that only came after Drake's big red button of Family Matters. Also failing to realize the fact that this Akademiks TV propaganda page is single-handedly prolonging the toxicity and the exposing of non-public individuals that were involved in this beef, and they're doing this, you know, almost a year and a half after the beef even happened, right? They're the one spreading this narrative continuously, prolonging these horrible narratives only on one side. So that is the beef that, you know, Anthony Saleh, Punch, Dave Free, TDE, that's the problem they all have, is that Akademiks TV is fueling this nonsense, doing so a year and a half after the beef, and sensationalizing it on much higher levels than even Drake himself did by using these vulgar, disgusting different captions, right? But of course, Akadidler does not care, right? If he's going to be friends with someone who, you know, walked around Walmart doing what he did, not saying he's friends with them anymore, everything is alleged, of course, everything is satire, but, you know, Grandy, the Grand Wizard, he doesn't care about SZA's feelings or TDE's feelings, right? Like, this is all to try and make Drake look as good as possible. And then Snackadidler says some even more absolutely outrageous things, but he tries to land a point here when he says, you know, the same way you guys called Drake a PDF and people were singing a song acting like it's true, he never once hit me and said, bro, I'm gonna violate you playing that song or posting them, guys. Yeah, because Akademiks, he loved that song, right? That was his #1 most played song on Spotify in 2024. He continues, Drake took it on the chin. Pause. He knows his issues with the guy who said it in the first place, Kendrick Lamar. Well, I don't think he does, because he's not suing Kendrick Lamar, he's suing UMG, and I don't think he took it on the chin because he's suing over it, right? But he continues, funny thing Dave Free said in the middle of our convo, yeah, I realized the root of my issue is with Drake, and if stuff went left, I'd be trying to take it out on you. Well, that's it, folks. If Drake hurt y'all feelings in a rap battle, y'all posted his house, go slide. Stop tweeting. Crazy part is the supposed winners of the battle are saying this. Imagine what Drake must think or feel with y'all labeling him as a PDF. And he never told me no funny stuff placing any blame of people liking the song or saying BS, other than his fake industry friends. So he's saying basically, like, you know, Drake isn't bothered, isn't hurt by this whole beef. It's you guys, the winners of this beef, that have been insulted by the Akademiks TV captions on Twitter, and you're trying to attack me, you're trying to attack Grandy, when you should be going after La Brianna, right? But the thing is, La Brianna's out in court issuing $75,000 subpoenas over Kendrick Lamar's team. So I think both sides are just kind of taking their anger out, or they're, you know, trying to get revenge on different sections, right? TDE is trying to stop Akademiks TV from posting vile things on Twitter. Meanwhile, Drake is out in a New York Supreme Court trying to basically burn down the entire UMG building over promoting the song Not Like Us. So you guys tell me in the comments who you think has been overreacting more to the outcome of this beef. So Punch replies, you know, emphasizing, like, look, like, we understand, right? Kendrick, Drake, they said some nasty things at each other. They hurt each other's feelings. Like, I don't care about what happened in a battle, but now it's like you got this Grandy guy on your Twitter account acting like an absolute bigot Klansman. And that's fine and all, but once you start talking about, like, my artists and my team and my people, like, that's when it becomes a problem, right? So Punch says, you know, all that is cool. I don't have an issue with nothing the guy said in a battle. Doesn't matter what Drake said in a battle, right? It's a battle. But I wanted clarity priority on the personal insults away from the battle. So Akademiks says, brother, y'all told me the government name of the person who runs my Akademiks TV account. I don't know what you heard, but official clarification, Drake don't and can't write our captions. However, we do F with him and he Fs with us. Last time he was the only reason why I let off on SZA. Nobody else. That was the point. Because again, Drake made Akadidler apologize to SZA for the nasty comments he was making. So Akademiks caps it off saying TDE beefing with Akademiks TV more than Drake is crazy. Now, after this, Akademiks did hop on an Instagram live, very drunk in Turks and Caicos, his head looking bigger than ever, looking like it was about to explode through the camera. It couldn't even fit in the full camera lens. It was, very big and round. But anyways, besides his round head, he clarifies a few things, right? So basically, the whole premise of this is when Akademiks went to Kendrick's GNX show, he was, confronted by Dave Free, Kendrick's people, and they were saying, like, what the heck is this Akademiks TV guy on? Like, this Twitter account that you have running, who is it ran by? We did some investigative work. We found the guy, and Drake is friends with him. He calls him Grandy, right? So is Drake the one that's actually controlling or greenlighting what gets said on this account? And Akademiks at the time, like, Dave Free was recording this conversation, and Akademiks was like, we F with Drake, so when Drake doesn't like something, like, maybe we can make some things happen where we delete a post or we walk back something, whatever the case is. He doesn't, fully admit that Drake controls this page, because obviously it's ran by Grandy, but, we mess with Drake. So they kind of took this as, hey, maybe Drake is actually involved in, getting some of these nasty captions posted up on this Akademiks TV page. But Snackadidler wants to dead the rumor that, Drake is the one in control of his own brand, of his Twitter account, right? It's his fans, apparently, that are running it. The Grandy guys, right? So he gets on IG Live and he says, like, hey, Drake even came to me, because I guess SZA went to Drake and said, hey, like, are you the one on Akademiks TV Twitter page, like, posting all this nasty stuff about me? So Drake went to Akademiks and said, yo, like, they're telling me that you told them that I'm the one that's controlling this Akademiks TV page. Like, what is this? And Akademiks, like, he loves Drake very much, right? Like, he can't have Drake hate him, right? Because then how could he get invited to Wireless Festival? No, wait, he didn't get invited to Wireless Festival. How could he get his first stream with Drake? Well, Drake has already streamed with, I believe, 3 or 4 other streamers, so maybe it's too late for that. But how could he get his information from Drake, behind the scenes stuff? Well, Drake gives it to him, but he also lies to Akademiks constantly. So I don't really know what type of relationship with Drake Akademiks has and what he's trying to salvage here, but, he's very fond of Drake, and he says, hey, Drake, like, you think that the TDE guys pressed me when I went to the GNX show? Why don't you go to the one in Toronto?
Drake's funny, but when he said that, I said to Drake, yo, are you gonna go to the Toronto show? And then I told him, I think I'm going. Are you going? Because if you're saying that I was shook, you should go and go see about. They're calling you a PDF. So I just want to put all that shit to bed, man. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, everybody just leave me out of this shit, or else I'm gonna tell you, nobody gonna look good. Because I'm telling y'all, this is a rap beef where I'm seeing a bunch of talk about shit that I covered every day in Chicago that get over, and there's not a toenail, not a finger, not a bad breath breathed on nobody. Stop it. Punch, stop tweeting. Stop tweeting. You stop tweeting. Y'all acting like y'all can't find Drake? Are you serious? Oh, I gotta show up to your stadium for you to raise an issue, but you had the issue the whole time? Stop it. The only thing I'll say, Drake never said that to me. If Drake had, and I said it on Twitter today, if Drake had said to me, oh, Ak, yo, you're posting this and blah, blah, you know what I would have told Drake? And I told you what I told him. Drake, if you thought I was scared, because I guess SZA or whatever line people told me, if y'all thought I was scared and I threw Drake under the bus, I said to Drake, well, do what I did. Be gangster like me. You show up. You show up. Because I showed up. Show up to what's it called? Rogers Stadium. Show up. If you're not going to show up, I don't want to hear it. So, I'm going to just go back to it. Thank you, Punch, for heating it up again, because I thought this was deaded. But here's the thing. Stop tweeting about that interaction. And Dave Free, I don't know if you're telling nobody about anything. Anthony Slay, he was mad reasonable. And I know y'all niggas ain't about to do nothing to Drake. I know y'all niggas ain't sliding. I know y'all niggas ain't on shit. No, and by the way, I'm saying on both sides. Everybody's just getting their money. Please stop pressing the other people, or not even pressing. Stop questioning the other people who's not in it. You ain't did nothing to that man, but you asking Akademiks why he posting what he posted? Bruh, you know where that live. You put his house on your thing.
And then Akademiks says, like, Drake even went to him after and said, yo, like, I've been hearing that you're telling the TDE guys that I'm the one writing the captions on your Twitter page. What is this? And Akadidler said, no, that's my minion, Drake. I wasn't pressed at the TDE show. I didn't tell them that. Like, I don't know what BS SZA is feeding you, but I love you, Drake. All right, I'll do anything for you. So please do not be mad at me.
You know, Drake hit me and he said, yo, Ak, yo, did them niggas press you? Like, were you scared? And I'm like, I hit Drake. I said, what are you talking about, brother? He says, I know you told him that I'm writing your captions. I said, Drake, them niggas recording in the corner. I had my security. Dave Free was with his security. Nothing crazy happened. I said, did you hear an audio? Because I know they recorded it. But clearly SZA hit him up. And I'm telling this now because, like, yo, I hate when people play with me. Like, I'll expose all you. SZA clearly hit Drake up after the conversation because Dave Free, after I talked to him face to face, went to the back, probably told Punch tells SZA, and SZA hits Drake to say, yo, are you the one writing Akademiks captions? So Drake asked me, like, yo, Ak, why would you tell him that? And I was like, Drake, I never told him that. Only thing I said, yo, we with you with us. You're the one who made me stop talking shit about her. Me. Not Act TV. Me. Because I was violating her.
And, you know, then Akademiks, it wouldn't be a live stream without him saying some really ridiculous stuff. So he said some absolutely atrocious things here that it's like you could just tell that he doesn't actually listen to any real hip-hop music, right? Because he's so disattached from what the biggest hip-hop projects we've got in the last year are actually about, that he only focuses on the drama, and because he's only focusing on that, he thinks they're only focusing on drama. So he points to Pusha T and Kendrick in particular. He says, like, you know, Pusha T, he's made his whole rollout about Kanye West and Travis Scott, right? If you listen to that Clips album, there are only 2 actual instances I can point out that are directly about Travis Scott or Kanye West. On Ace Trumpets, of course, he says, look at you, him and him still waiting on Yeezy, you better get your squeegees. And then on the So Be It verse, of course, he's dissing Travis Scott, right? That last verse. And Akademiks should be propping up the fact that Pusha T is actually going to hip-hop journalists to speak about the music, to speak about whatever he's talking about at the music, whether he's dissing, whether he's just talking on the album itself, his reunion with his brother, whatever the case is, it's great for hip-hop. That's why everyone's praising this rollout, in the fact that Pusha T is actually going to take the time out of his day to sit down with the Joe Buddens, the Bootleg Kevs, Elliott Wilson, GQ, whoever he's been sitting down with. Numerous different interviews, right? And he's doing this for the sake of the world experience that he's building with this album. This feels like a vintage album rollout from back in the day. Akademiks should like this because it leads other artists to be influenced to actually sit down and talk about the music. And that would help a guy like this, Akademiks, who builds his career not just off Big Macs, but also off speaking to rappers, right? And no rappers really speak to actual journalists. Look at Drake. He's been dissing his Fragile Ops on XQC and Adin Ross streams instead of directly going to sit down with a Joe Budden or an Akademiks to break down the bars, break down the music. No one's been doing this. It's only been Pusha T. And yes, this is his first project since 2022 when he had the falling out with Travis Scott and Good Music and Kanye West. So of course he's going to talk about this on his next life update in the form of his next project. It's only right. But Akademiks not actually paying attention to what the album is, which, by the way, phenomenal project. I could, do more of a breakdown on that album. Drop a comment if you want that. I've been bumping that album nonstop for the last few days, but because Akademiks only sees the drama, he thinks that the whole rollout has only been about the drama. So he says that Pusha T and Kendrick, they're the 2 biggest haters, right? And he says that Kendrick made a divisive song in Not Like Us, talking about, that's the other side, they are not like us, and he didn't really prop up, the people who he actually supports. But again, it's like you're just not paying attention to the fact that after Not Like Us came the Pop-Out concert, then came GNX, which was entirely influenced by that West Coast sound that was derived on Not Like Us. He was only featuring underground, unknown West Coast artists. So who exactly is he not putting on? And tell me, is there one diss aimed at Drake on that GNX project? And if Kendrick is only getting his success off of beefing with Drake, then why is it that his biggest hit of the last year and a half has been Luther with SZA, which has no mention at all to anything beef related, anything Drake related? TV Off, Squabble Up, none of these songs are directly about Drake, right? Meanwhile, 3 of the biggest hits Drake has put out since the beef, No Face, What Did I Miss, and Gimme a Hug, those are all about Kendrick Lamar and this beef and how hurt Drake is over everything, right? It's a tissue box in the form of a song for Drake to cry over. So I had to dead this narrative, but I'll play you this clip of Snackadiddler's head busting through the camera as he's talking about how Pusha T and Kendrick revolve their entire career right now, about beefs, about drama. Again, it's like, you just go back to what I said 5 minutes ago, rewind, and you could see there's a million different instances of debunking this nonsense. But you guys are here for the generational crash out, so here it is. Enjoy it.
Pusha T is the exact thing I'm talking about. And it's not him as a person, it's how he's marketing this project and marketing things. It's the same with Kendrick. They're marketing their movement as being anti other things. We don't see, like, we're not seeing, like, of course Drake is on his, I'm on my revenge, but we don't see, like, Pusha T, the 10 interviews where he's just talking about bare men. Like, yo, yeah, he's a him, he's this. And it's like, dog, there's no way you saved all these thoughts in your head to come do a whole interview rollout to tell us who you didn't like. Yo, there's nothing. Like, I wish his rollout was a little bit more of, yo, this is what my life has been. Come tap in with me. And this is why I said the hater energy. It's like, bro, that's not hate. You decided to roll out a whole album telling us that you hate. Come on, bro. Like, come on, dog. Like, you're not even telling us about your life. You're like, yo, let me tell you about these I don't like. And that's what I was saying about the Kendrick things. Like, I felt he took the time to tell us who wasn't like him or how much he didn't like another guy, more than gather people to appreciate him for what he does, you know? And obviously people always gonna look at a fight. You know, if you see two people getting into it, it's the easiest way to get attention. You say someone's name or something like that, but I don't know, it just didn't feel that good. Look at Travis Scott. Has Travis Scott ever when Travis Scott's rolling out an album, it's about what he has going on. Yo, this is what I have going on. This is my stuff, right? Come into my world. Not, yo, this other guy right here, I hate him. I hate the way he walks, he talks. I hate the woman he dates. Like, bro, like, you're too obsessed with another person. He said Kendrick, yeah, I'll give you that with the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, but let's take that into consideration. When he does Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and he talks about himself, he's not that interested. Everybody said that project came and went. When he's talking about his life, when Drake drops records, he's talking about his life and what he's gone through since he made the last album. Kendrick started telling us about, like, the transgendered people that's in his family, respectfully, and we were just like boring, like, you know what I mean? He's the most interested right now in full hater mode, which it goes to show maybe your story isn't that dynamic where everybody wants to be a part of it. And I think that has to be noted, though. It has to be noted.
Oh, I'm tired. Maybe I'll go order a Big Mac. By the way, it's 3:30 in the morning as I'm recording this, alright? So if you stuck around till the end, I love you very much. But if you got love for me too, I'll probably edit this and post it when I wake up tomorrow morning. But it's very late and I'm very tired. So drop a like for the pain I had to endure by sitting through these DJ Akademiks clips and breaking them down for you so late at night. And if you have any tips on how to stop procrastinating, because I want to make this video hours ago, but I was like, oh, I have to sort through like dozens of minutes of Akademiks rambling on Instagram Live to make this. It took a lot of willpower and a lot of procrastination. So if you know how to avoid procrastination, give me your best tip in the comments. And if you guys want a full video of me kind of breaking down how you can get into YouTube as well, this is kind of random, but I want to start helping people, you know, and I'm sure, you know, you guys are very vocal in the comments, so I'm sure you have a lot of great opinions and stuff and can make great content out of that. And it's very easy to do. And then you could have fun like me, you know, staying up till 4 in the morning breaking down Akademiks live stream clips. So yeah, I can make a whole video kind of breaking down, you know, how to get your foot in the door in YouTube, how to grow a channel, all that stuff. And thank you guys for the support to even make that possible. But as always, let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you in the next one.